Okay, here we are again. Welcome back. This is part 2 of the how to create engraved text in Maya using the Bevel Plus option. So let me get rid of the text we created here. You notice when you do a create text option, it puts all the curves into a group with the name of the text. So I'm just going to delete that whole thing and then come in here and delete what we extruded. So let's take our completed model and hide it. So let's do Control H. We'll get that right. I still have to turn those pop-ups off. Let's unhide our original curves. Shift the H. So these are the original curves. I want to thank Next Design, one of the users in our site, who went through and cleaned these curves up. I did notice when I looked at the curves for Christmas here, there was one additional curve right around in this area here that was just a single segment. So I deleted that out as well. If you go into the text here, these are the curves that make this up. This is the outer curve, and you can see these will be the inner curves, right? The inside of the H, the inside of the T, and then this will be the little sploosh over the I. There was one additional curve in here, and it was a single segment floating out here, and I just deleted it. Okay. Now, the first thing that I didn't show in the last video is let's take this text and let's see what happens when we extrude it. And remember, I've got those settings preset. So I'm going to select the selection. Well, remember, selection order is important. Select the outer curve, then the inner curve. I'm not going to worry about the little sploosh. You should do that as a separate piece. And then the inner curves. So the outer curves, the inner curves, and then I'm going to go down to surfaces, Bevel Plus, bring up the options just to show that they have been messed up actually. This has to be 0.005. Anything bigger than that, we get that weird cap error. We want to have a bevel at the front but no bevel at the back. We want to have a depth of 0.20. We want to have this set to 0. So it's going to bevel inward. 0.02, there's going to be no depth, and then it's going to have a cap at the back. We want to have a no cap at the front and a cap at the back, and their bevel type is straight in. So let's do this. This is, remember, the original text that was sent in. So if I apply this, right, it creates the bevel, but there's a problem with this. If I go from the top view, you can see that it's beveled outward. We want it to go inward to look like it's been engraved. So how do I reverse the direction that this bevel happens? Well, you do that simply by reversing the direction of the script. So if I take this and I delete it, right, come back to the I want to go from a right view for a second because I'm seeing that and let's turn our grid back on, and what I'm seeing is my text here, if I center that, is actually floating above the surface here. It doesn't matter for a demo, but me being a stickler, I'm going to hit the X and then middle mouse click on the center curve there so I can get it over the grid. I'm going to do the same thing for the plate. I'm going to take it, center its pivot. There's some issues with the plate here. I don't think these these edges are. If I hit curve and then curve snap it, and now if I center pivot, take the whole surface, or both curves, I keep saying surface, eventually it will be a surface, and I want to take that and I want to grid snap it to the center. Whoop. See, along the z-axis I want to, so highlight that axis first, or activate that axis first, and then snap it to z. Okay, now I feel more comfortable. Everything's lined up on the right axes. Okay, so what was I doing here? Oh, we want to change the direction of that text. So what I want to do is come into to the text, grab all the curves, and I want to reverse their direction. So you can go to edit curves and then down to reverse, but once again I've got that up on my I use it so often I have it up here, so I'm just going to hit reverse direction. Oh, I'm sorry, that's for surfaces. Let's come in here, and what I'm doing is holding the shift key, the right mouse button, whoops, Z, the shift key, actually I can take this curve too, the shift key and the right mouse button and just hit reverse curve. So all I've done is reverse those curves. So now let's do the same thing again and extrude the text and see what we get. So outer curve, inner curve, inner curve, inner curve, and come down here and do a surfaces bevel plus. So now you see I've created the bevel, and now it's going in the right direction. I'm looking at it from the front, and you can see it's going inward. And all I did was reverse the direction of the text. So I can grab this one, hit the G key to repeat last command, and there we go. We've created the engraved text. So now all we have to do is build this surface around it. So what I'm going to do is these, going into my outliner, these are the surfaces that make up my engraved text. So I'm going to take those and group them with Control G, and I'm going to hide them with Control H. And now I'm going to go and assemble this outer part. So to do that, this is where we're going to use NURBS and trim. So what I'm going to do is go from the front view. I'm going to turn this grid off because it's distracting. And I'm going to create, I'm going to turn off that, I'm going to go to show, and I'm going to turn off my lights so we're not looking at those light here. So anyway, let's go here, let's create a NURBS plane. Okay. We're just going to draw a plane that's larger than the surface we're going to eventually create here. And let's select our curves, and let's select the plate, or the cartouche curves, and then let's select this surface, and then go to Edit NURBS, Project Curves on Surface. Okay. So now I can take and hide these curves. Take this guy and Control hide them. And if I select this surface, you now see that I've got the curves projected onto this surface. Okay. And as always, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So let's actually go back a step or two here prior to doing the projection. And in this case, I want to just start with the plate curve and this. And I want to do a Edit NURBS, Project Curves on Surface. Okay, so same thing. Once this is done, I can hide these curves. Control hide, and you see that I've got just the cartouche shape. You'll see there's a reason why I'm doing it in this order in just a minute. So now I want to cut out or trim out the surface here so that we're left with just the medallion or the cartouche shape. So what I'll do is come here, and I will go to Edit NURBS, and we're going to do a trim operation, and you'll see our surface will turn into sort of a grid pattern with dotted lines. And if you look down here, it'll tell you what you're supposed to do, and it will say it should say Trim Tool. You can see in the bottom there, I was hovering over it and changed the text, but it says Trim Tool. Check button 1 on the surface to select the region you want to keep. So we want to keep this region, and you see when I select the region to keep, the lines turn solid, and then if I hit return, I'm left with just that shape that we want to keep. Okay. Now we want to give this some thickness, so I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to push it back just a little bit, and then I'm going to take the trim edge from here to the trim edge here. Oops, I need to hold the shift key down. So take this trim edge to this trim edge, shift that trim edge, and I'm going to go down here to Surfaces Loft. Okay? And it creates a loft here. Now, let's make sure that we didn't do something bad. I'm going to turn off two-sided lighting. Okay? And you can see that we have a problem here. I've got this face facing out. This face should be facing out, but it's facing in because I just duplicated it and pushed it back. So let's undo this. Let's take this face right here, this surface, and we're going to reverse it. If we go down to Edit NURBS, there's a reverse NURB directions. Once again, I use these things a lot, so I have it up on my toolbar here, and I'm just going to reverse the direction in U. Just by default, I like to just pick the one direction there. When I do that, now you can see this face is facing out, this face is facing out, which is what I want. And so now we'll do that loft. So I'm going to pick a trim edge from here, and a trim edge from here, and I'm going to do a surface loft. Boom. Okay. Now don't worry about the fact that the loft actually created an inside-out loft. We'll fix that in a little bit. So let's go back here, and we're going to do trim edge. We're going to pick trim edge. Okay, let's see why it's fighting me here. Okay. I do have an issue with Maya where every once in a while it would just lose its mind, and it will stop updating the screen, which is one of the reasons I've pretty much stopped using Maya for a long time. I've had this issue bugging me now for many revisions, and I can't figure out what it is special about me that that Maya just doesn't like. So anyway, let me go trim edge again. Let's try this. We'll take this trim edge, and then we'll go to this inner trim edge, and I'll just hit the G key to repeat that loft command. So there we go. So now we've created a watertight part, albeit backwards. So let's go in and fix that. So I'm going to come in here, picking this inner surface, and I'm going to do a, as I did before, reverse surface direction, and apply it, and pick this one and apply it. Okay. So now I've got this solid shape, but it's pretty boxy. I got these very sharp edges, and don't be concerned if you see that there are gaps in here. This is just because the tessellation resolution in your display is set rather low so that you can actually get reasonable performance as you see me flicking this around. If you try to make this look too good in your GUI, then your performance gets really slow. It'll render out and you won't see those gaps. So what we'll do now is we'll come in here. We need to actually add some kind of a bevel or a round to this to make it look a little cleaner. So what we're going to do is come here to the Edit NURBS tab, and we're going to do select the round tool. So if I select the round tool here, and then I just drag this over two edges, you see a little manipulator will appear, and I've got my round tool radius set to 0.1, a tenth of a unit. Okay, and if I now hit return, you'll see it will create a round edge, once again facing the wrong direction, but we can fix that in a little bit. So let's do that. Let's hit the, now if you notice I hit the G key, it won't do anything in this. Oh, it did actually. Anyway, let's pick the round tool there. You see it's going to use the same default. Hit return. It creates a bevel there. And then we're going to come over here, do the same thing on this side. Hit the G key to repeat that. Come over here, hit return. And let's do another one. G right here. Hit return. Okay. And you might notice that we got some kind of strangeness happening in here in terms of our tangents. Now, I haven't figured out the best way to fix this yet, but what I generally do is, well, let's try something just as a test. Let me come in here and do a pick this guy and reverse its direct, and this guy. Let's see if I can do two at a time. And come up here and do reverse surface direction and apply. Okay, now that fixes those. So we pick this one and apply. And we fix those. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, I think that's because I just double hit shift. Let's do this one. Oh, no, it's not because of that. I don't have keep originals on. Let's undo this back a couple steps. Let's take this face. We'll get this here. Let me see. Apply, reverse it. That looks fine. Reverse it. But as soon as I do that, I got two faces here. This is really strange. Let's take this guy. Let's just go through and apply it all the way around and see if we can figure it out after. Let's go here and apply. Okay. And then we got this really strange effect. Let me pause this for a second, see if I can figure out what's causing this.